down to earth, very jovial. He won't get angry. He listens to people. He listens to advice. Everything you tell him, he takes. Terry was a kind. He was a kind. He's a kind. We love to work with him. And it's unfortunate that in these days, these days that we have social media, he's not. A person of his caliber is not around. To be beefing with Shatta Wale.
What do you think you'd have been like, man? What
The matter chop hot. Assembly diloto. Hey! Aye!
Such an interesting conversation. I know you are itching to hear more of that particular conversation. This is what I am here for us to talk about today on this particular episode on the podcast with me, Roland Amartey, live on Roland Report. So if you're watching, don't be selfish, or if you're listening, wherever you're doing it from, don't be selfish. Don't forget to share this particular content on your page, on your WhatsApp status, on your Facebook stories, WhatsApp, X, everywhere. Let others also enjoy the beautiful things that you're enjoying on this particular platform. You're welcome, and I always do this with you, so you're at liberty to share your views in the comment section. Let me hear from you. Let me know what you think about what we are going to discuss today on the podcast with me live on Roland Report. Today, the legendary Zab Mallet is in the news. The legendary Zab Mallet is in the news, and in an interview with Kafui on Kafui's channel, spoke about some of his downside in the music industry, including the artists that he lost, the kind of investments that he did, and all of that, and how he even sees. He made mention of Shatta Wale, like we heard in the intro. He spoke about the late Terry Bonchaka, his demise, the one that passed away, and he also talked about Tommy Reid, some artists that he invested heavily in, and was thinking just when he was about to tear his cocoa, the unfortunate thing of their demise happened, which gave him a great loss, a great heartbreak, and how he even dealt with it. Of course, we have lots and lots of it, a lot of conversation. I have the full tape for you to listen, and also share your views in the comment section. What you think about this particular issue on how people invest in artists, and just when they are about to reap, it is either the artist leaves the label, the artist leaves their camp, they fight with the artist, or even the artist passes away. How do we deal with some of these things? My name is Roland Amartey. Thanks. And also don't forget that this particular show is sponsored by Ghana's #1 ride-hailing app, Shagzy. Go on your Google Play Store, your App Store, download the app today. As a driver, just sign up with just 20 Ghana cedis. Whatever you earn, whatever you get, you're entitled to 12 hours, which would last about a week. So whatever you earn, whatever you get from those trips is for you. You pay no commission to anybody. And as a rider as well, you are also going to sign up for free, and you stand the chance of enjoying very affordable rides on the market. Without wasting much time, let's go take. This is a very interesting conversation that I would want you to take your time and listen to. Is there any nostalgic feeling that you get? Let me hear from you of what you think about what Zab Mallet said about his loss, his regret in the game. Listen to this. I'll be right back.
What's your most painful experience in the music industry?
Most painful in terms of
something that happened to you that really made you sad and disappointed, dejected.
Oh, well, if you want to talk about sadness and dejection, then death. I lost some artists within a certain period. I lost about 3 or 4.
Who were they?
Top artists. Tommy Reid, Terry Bonchaka, Michael Jamna.
Yeah.
And, I don't know.
In chains like that?
Yeah, they just, Tommy Reid died first, and then later, and Terry Bonchaka died. I don't know the chronology anyway, but they died, in a very short space of time. I lost about 4 or 5 artists. My top artists, but artists who were like, sure, this one, if I produce no hit, they just suddenly, they just went off grid. They pulled the plug.
Yeah.
Later pulled the plug, and that was it.
How did that hit you?
I was like, especially Terry Bonchaka's own. I was at home at 4 a.m. when it was 4. Yes, 4. I was at South Dock at that time, and this DJ came, a DJ of a friend of ours. He worked with Mark at that time. He came to me at 4 a.m. They came to bang on my gate. First, I thought it was armed robbers. I was scared. Then I looked outside. I saw it was this tall figure alone standing there. So I just went outside and confronted him. And he was saying, "Oh, Charlie, Charlie be done with me." I said, "Oh yeah, okay. How was it? Charlie, your boy died." Oh.
He's telling you this at 4 a.m.
4 a.m. He came to. He told me. He said, he said, "Zap, I'm just coming from the hospital. I'm just coming from 37. I saw him, and I was like, what? I couldn't believe it. So 4 a.m. when we spoke, after we spoke about 30 minutes, he left. I went to bed, hoping that by the time I wake up again, it's a bad dream. And when I woke up, I started hearing his music. I started hearing his tribute. I was like, what? So it is true. First, I thought it was a nightmare. It was true. The guy was dead. He died. He died here. Remember, he died on this Lagos stretch.
Yes.
Yeah.
What kind of potential was lost with the passing of Terry?
Energy. The energy that he had. The enthusiasm, the passion the guy had for the music. He could do all sorts of things to get attention. Of course, he wouldn't do bad things, and he would listen. I mean, those times, those boys were listening to a lot of us. Those times, we weren't like now.
Social media don't come here.
Social media don't come yet, So those times, and Terry Bonchaka had that talent. He was full of enthusiasm, the passion, the drive, was there. But unfortunately, he met his demise on this Lagos stretch. So one night, he went to play a session. He went to play a show at Lagos. And he was driving. He came to the studio with that car. Some old MG, those MG sporty. This one was a black convertible. And he didn't have that thing that covers that. That doesn't even have. And he came to my studio that night. That night he was going to perform.
That night?
Yeah, that day he was going to perform. He came there during the day. Yeah, around this time he was in the studio.
Then you were at Sabadoko?
No, then I was at my 11.
Okay.
Yeah. So when he not knowing he was going to play a show at Lagos. So on his way back, he met an accident. And Terry didn't know how to drive, but he was trying to drive at that time.
What?
Yeah, he didn't know how to drive. He was trying to drive at that time, So, and it wasn't a good car. It wasn't a car that was in a good shape like any of these cars. No, it wasn't like, it was a car, refurbished, an old NG car, and I don't know how he got it, because Terry was eclectic. His presentation of his shows, he realized everything is eclectic. His car, some eclectic car, some old NG car.
When he restored him?
He restored. He just wanted to do something
different,
strange from everybody. That's how Terry is.
With a bad trial.
Yeah. And unfortunately, landed him in trouble.
As a person, what was he like?
He was very respectful. Very respectful, very down to earth, very jovial. He won't get angry. He listens to people. He listens to advice. Everything you tell him, he takes. Terry was a kind. He was a kind. We love to work with him. And it's unfortunate that in these days, that we have social media, he's not. A person of his caliber is not around. To be beefing with Shatta Wale.
What do you think you'd have been like, man? And what kind of music do you think Terry would have been producing? Looking at the trajectory that was.
Terry would have been doing Afrobeat now, I'm sure. He would have been doing Afrobeat, but in his own different way. Because Terry started with he started kind of like with dance hall kind of thing.
Yes.
Shaggy kind of
the voice, that gruff voice.
Yes, that I think that whole thing started with this man, this Jamaican guy. Oh. Shabba Ranks, yes. Shabba Ranks, yeah, Shabba Ranks, and then transcended to Shaggy. So he had that kind of Shaggy
style.
Yes, Shaggy style. But I'm sure by now he will be doing Amapiano.
And some Afrobeats.
Yes.
This is what is coming from the legendary Zap Mallet. With what he talked about, I know definitely if Terry Bonchaka were to be alive or was to be alive, I'm sure with the way he was going, or with the span, the way his career was going. For me, if you ask me, I think Black Sherif is reliving what Terry Bonchaka, or how Terry Bonchaka went on, because we can all attest to how fast he was rising, even with his first year, second year when he rose to fame, and that is to Black Sherif's career. I mean, that is who I would actually compare Terry Bonchaka to in recent times, because he had a unique style. Everything about him, from his music, his genre of music, the way he attacks the music, his pen game, his lyrics, his lyrical dexterity, I mean, his fashion sense, even all these guys are very unique, and all of that, and that is what I think he would have still been the unique Terry Bonchaka that we knew him to be. But these are the regrets and some of the sad moments of the legendary Zab Mallet. For somebody like Bullet of Rough Town Record, I mean, some of these things he's experienced it with Ebony, the late Ebony Reigns, just when he was about to have how do you call it, his money, or he was about to cash out. The unfortunate thing happened and all of that. And Kiwa has also experienced it. For him, his artists did not die, but rather they left off his label, among other people who, when it was time for them to reap off of their artist or their hard work, the artist decided to leave them unexpectedly. But then, let me hear from you. Let me know what you think about this particular conversation. My name has been Roland Amartey. This has been the podcast with me live on Roland Report, sponsored by Shagzy as well as Tichua Stitches. Until then, don't forget to stay safe. I'll meet you in my next video. See you when I see you. Bye bye.
The matter chop hot. Assembly Diloto. Hey! Aye! Hey!